Now we're going to make a rough sketch of a f of x equals base 1/3 raised to the x power, that's an exponential function, and part b, f of x equals 4 to the x. They're both exponential functions. The difference is they have different types of bases. And let's see, so that's the thing that we want to recognize. These guys are both exponential functions. Now we have two categories of exponential graphs. The first category is when the base, which we'll call a, is greater than 1. And the second category is when the base is a value a that falls between 0 and 1. And those two basic categories give us a different kind of graph. So we have the f of x equals 4 to the x in the first category, and f of x equals 1/3 to the x in the second category. Can you see why? The base in the first one, f of x equals 4 to the x, that's a base 4, so that's greater than 1. The base in the second function is 1/3, so the base a equals 1/3, that's a number between 0 and 1. That's why we put it in that category. So they both have the same y-intercept, 0, 1, and they're both asymptotic to the x-axis. But the difference is, for the base a greater than 0, you can imagine a plane coming in for a landing, moving from the right to the left, and coming into a landing on the airstrip, which is the asymptote. And for the base being between 0 and 1, you can imagine the plane coming in for a landing from the left to the right and landing on the airstrip at the x-intercept. So both of them have the same y-intercept, so we'll graph that. And here's the plane coming in for a landing from right to left because that base a is greater than 1. And we note in this example, the asymptote, of course, is the x-axis. It's a landing strip. And the y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 1, which is the case in both of these. The domain, well, this covers every x value. This graph is going to include every x value. So it's everything from negative infinity to positive infinity. But for the range, well, look at the picture. It's never going to touch the x-axis. That's the asymptote. It's always going to have y values that are just a little bit bigger than the y equals 0 value, which is the x-axis, and all the way up to y equals infinity. So the range is the open interval, open bracket, from 0 to infinity. The other graph, that comes in for a landing from the left to the right on the asymptote. And for that problem, that we have an asymptote, of course, at the x-axis. The y-intercept is the same. It's at 0, 1, xy equals 0, 1. The domain, it covers every x value from negative infinity to positive infinity. And again, the range is everything from y equals 0 to infinity, not including y equals 0 because it never actually touches the asymptote. So it's an open interval at 0.